Hello, today we are doing a tapping on not feeling good enough. And a feeling of not good enough can really prevent us doing what we want to do because we feel like if we put ourselves out there, we might, be shamed or people would judge us or people will be like, you are not good enough. You have this imposter syndrome. You're dealing with so many things when you have the underlying feeling of not being good enough. So today's tapping is to really bring us back to our center and remind us of our true nature and that we are good enough and that you can come back to this tapping anytime that you are not feeling good enough. But before we start this tapping, what I'm going to do is get you to take a few deep breaths in and just kind of notice where in your body that feeling of not being good enough, and notice if there is any specific times or memories that come up when you feel like you're not good enough. And try and bring those feelings into today's tapping and just take what words I say, and then you can use those words and you can even make them a little bit more true for you, or you can try and bring these pictures or those feelings into today's tapping because that's really going to help you shift it and it's going to make you feel far better. So just taking another deep breath in and then releasing. The chair's a bit squeaky. And we can start on the side of the hand. I have this feeling of not being good enough. I don't know where it came from, but I feel like no matter what I do, it is never good enough. And I feel like I'll never be on top of this feeling, and that I'm never going to do the things that I want to do. So even though I have these feelings of not being good enough, I love, accept, and forgive myself anyway. All of these feelings of not being good enough. Maybe I've always felt this way, or maybe it's just a new feeling. I'm sending love to all parts of me. All parts of me that doesn't feel good enough. And I'm just reminding myself that I am good enough. And I'm reminding myself that I am capable. And I am worthy. And when I shake this feeling of not being good enough, I am unstoppable. Okay, take a deep breath in. And we can start on the top of the head. All these feelings of not being good enough. I just feel like I'm never going to be good enough. I feel like there's always going to be somebody better than me. And I feel like nothing ever works out for me. And that every time I have tried before, it didn't work out. So I feel like I just shouldn't try anymore. And everywhere I go, I'm finding proof that I am not good enough. Because this is a story I've been telling myself for a long time. That I'll never be good enough. That I'm not worthy. and that I just don't feel good enough. But even though I feel like this, I love, accept, and forgive myself. And I'm sending love to all parts of me, even the parts that feel not good enough. And I'm letting all of these old stories go. I'm letting all of these old feelings go. Because they are not the truth. Even though I feel this way, it is not the truth. My feelings of not being good enough, I'm letting them dissolve now. Dissolve like the sand dunes in the wind. And I'm just reminding myself that I am worthy and that I am good enough. And I'm extending that all the way through to my childhood. All the way through to the day that I was born. Because I would never tell that baby that they are not good enough. And that baby has grown up into me. And I absolutely am good enough. And I have so much potential. Way more than I ever give myself credit for. I have so much potential that lives inside of me. And I'm opening myself up to that potential today. And I'm reminding myself that I am good enough. That I am worthy. That I'm strong. And that everything I have ever been through, I have made it through. So if that's not proof enough that I'm good enough, I don't know what is. I truly am good enough. And I'm letting those old stories go right now. And I just have to remind myself of my power, my true nature. Remind myself of my wins. Remind myself of all of the amazing lessons that I've learned. And remind myself that maybe I'm not perfect, but I absolutely am good enough. And I would never let anyone else tell me I'm not good enough. Because my true nature is good enough. And I was born enough. And I don't need to change a thing. I don't need to try to be perfect. Or to be somebody that I'm not. I just have to trust. Trust in myself like I always have. And know that in my core, I am enough. And I am worthy. I don't need to change. I don't need to fit in boxes that I don't fit in. And I can unlimit myself. I can step into my true nature and power. And know and trust and believe that I am enough. And I am worthy. And I am unstoppable. And I love myself for who I am. Okay, take a nice deep breath in. And release. Hopefully this tapping has reminded you that you are good enough. And please repeat it as many times as you need. It's something you can come back to whenever, and you absolutely are inherently worthy and good enough. And I love you.